So throughout this video, you might hear me repeat some words like simple, effective, and it got the point across, which actually pretty much sums up this show. It was simple, it was effective, and it got the point across. Hello all MRBers and welcome to another video with me, Mike McRock, one half of the McRock and Bolt Wrestling Review Show, and right now I'm going to deliver to you my review for this week's episode of WWE NXT. And Bayley kicks off the show with a promo, and this was Bayley being the spokesperson talking about NXT TakeOver Respect in general and her match against Sasha Banks in the 30-minute Iron Woman match. And she also talked about bringing back women's wrestling and that women's wrestling should be respected and validated, in which NXT does a great job in doing, making the title actually mean something by putting it in really good feuds and putting it around the waist of credible and really good characters to latch on to. That's all I ask from NXT, and they've done a fantastic job, and they will keep doing a fantastic job because of the past history with that title. And a thought crossed my mind as well, like, who will be the next one to challenge for the Women's Championship? And we got that answer in this segment. Alexa Bliss interrupts and she cuts a promo, really being nice to Bayley, congratulating her, being the champion, raises her hand in victory, and then just grabs the title away from her. And Blake and Murphy block Bayley from getting it back, and then Bliss says that she's going to win the championship and steal it from Bayley. And I kind of like it. You know, I like that NXT is starting something new and fresh and a feud right off the bat after the 2-hour special last week, because it really keeps the women's division going, and that it keeps us really from being bored of waiting a few weeks after a 2-hour special to see, okay, what's the direction going to be with the women's division and who will be the next number one contender. But I like that they're really keeping it afloat here, and that also kicking off the show with a promo segment really gives the show a variety, which every segment should feel like on NXT. It doesn't necessarily have to be in the first segment, but at least we got a promo segment here that really feels really cool and something that's new and something that's fresh and it's something that's different. So kudos to NXT this week in delivering a really good solid first segment on the show. Then we got the Vaudevillains taking on Angelo Dawkins and Sawyer Fulton in a non-title match here. And this was a quick enhancement match where the Vaudevillains go over. There's really not much to talk about with this match. It was just NXT reminding us that the Vaudevillains are the champions and that they are not lost in the shuffle after the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Tournament Classic. And we got Dash and Dawson backstage claiming that they are the champions because of their non-title victory over the Vaudevillains in the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Tournament Classic. And again, I like it. You know, it sets up a new fresh feud for the titles, and I like it for that reason. And again, it's NXT getting the point across to start up something new and fresh. And will it be exciting? Well, that really remains to be seen. And then we get into what I would consider the segments that I've been anticipating for the past few weeks now, and that is the debut of Nia Jax. They hyped up this debut with video packages, giving them a new fresh take of what she could be like every week. So when it comes to the hyping, NXT delivered. And with that said, so did her debut match. It was very solid, it delivered, it was simple and effective, it got the point across. I would have liked to see just a little bit more from Nia Jax, but again, they got the point across in a very effective way. I mean, her bear hug looked like what a bear hug should look like, and of course her finisher, Imura, a modified Uranagi spinebusters kind of move, you know, shades of some of your famous Samoan wrestlers like Samoa Joe and her cousin Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. And the fans seem to be already on board with Nia Jax, and that's a good sign, because if the crowd doesn't like you, they will let you know. Eva Marie is a good example of that. And it seems like, when we have a Samoan wrestler on the WWE, the WWE seems to be really high on them, and more specifically Vince McMahon, and I see a really huge push for Nia Jax that's coming up in the future. And then we get into the main event on NXT. And this was hyped up last week after William Regal was talking to Finn Balor and Samoa Joe, talking about that we kind of forgot about the NXT Championship and that we need to concentrate on that now, which I do agree with. And I like what William Regal done here. Yeah, Battle Royals, we've seen them all before, and this was clearly one of them. But you know what? With that said, again, it got the point across in a sort of effective way. Again, if you've seen all the Battle Royals before, you're not really missing out on the match itself. However, this is the match that you should watch coming out of this show. Now, going into this match, I could see a few possible contenders. And I'm going to start with the obvious, and that being Samoa Joe, because NXT has been hinting in small spurts of him facing Balor for the past few weeks, and that they won the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Tournament Classic, which could be brought up to hype up the possible match against them. You could also make an argument for Rhino because of the matches he had with Balor in the past, and I would be fine if NXT went back there. And as long as Balor retains, however, because the only purpose of Rhino being on NXT is to help out the younger talent and putting them over. And you can also make an argument for the Lone Wolf Baron Corbin because of him bashing the indie wrestlers coming from indie promotions. And remember that video package a few months ago? You saw Finn Balor in that video package, and to me that just makes sense, having Baron Corbin face Finn Balor for the NXT Championship, because right now I feel like Baron Corbin kind of needs a direction. He needs a push right now on NXT. And of course you got Apollo Crews because of the momentum that he is gaining, and really what better way to gain more momentum and more wins than to win the Battle Royal to become the number one contender for the NXT Championship, as long as they don't force it. It has to come naturally. Let the fans grow on him a little bit more, which is the fear that NXT might do, because when we got to the finish of the match, I was actually fine with it not being Samoa Joe, because it gives him another feud, which I'll explain later on. But the winner of this match was Apollo Crews. And like I said, I was fine with it. However, I still feel like it's too soon for him to win a number one contenders match, because I feel like he needs to grow more naturally as a character, which I don't even see just yet in him. And that, to me, he needs to show me something that makes me say, I can see him being the next guy. I can see him being the next champion. He has the potential of being one, but I'm not quite there just yet with him. And again, I would have been fine if it was Corbin, because it came down to Apollo Crews and Baron Corbin as the final two. And I was like, are they going to go with Baron Corbin here? Which would be good for him, which would be good for his direction. However, I was kind of bummed that it wasn't. I was kind of disappointed in that area. But in the same time, I could see why NXT is high on Apollo Crews, but I still feel like that he doesn't deserve to win this match, in my opinion. To me, I feel like that NXT is going to start forcing Apollo Crews down our throats. I hope that's not the case. I clearly hope that's not the case here. However, with the match itself, it was good. It got the point across, and I like that the Battle Royal not just didn't focus on the winner of the match, it also focused on creating and rejuvenating new feuds, like rejuvenating the Baron Corbin and Rhino feud after Baron Corbin eliminated Rhino in this match, and also setting up Samoa Joe versus Tyler Breeze, because in this match we had Samoa Joe eliminate Tyler Breeze, and then from the outside, Tyler Breeze ends up eliminating Samoa Joe when he was on the apron. So I kind of like that NXT is starting up new, fresh feuds already after the 2-hour special, which is good because it keeps the show afloat. And it's one of those things where, you see battle royals and you see guys going at it, and then you see two guys starting up a feud, and I guess that's how feuds start right now. It is quite simple, and it is quite effective, I guess, so we'll see where it goes from there. So overall, this was actually a decent show of NXT this week, because usually when NXT wraps up a 2-hour special, they kind of go back to square one and start fresh and start at the bottom, kind of bore us a bit with a directionless, a few shows and all that stuff. But with this one, they actually kept the show going, they kept the show afloat, and they kept it sort of to the top a bit. And I hope they keep this going for the next few weeks till the next 2-hour takeover special. And I like that they're concentrating and building up more feuds. So congratulations, NXT. You've done an actually good show. It wasn't a great show, but it got the point across and was very effective. So overall, I would probably rate the show a solid 7 out of 10. And if you saw NXT this week, what did you think about it? Feel free to leave those comments right here in the comment section below. And you can also hit that subscribe button down below this video as well to become an MRBer on this wrestling review show.